All right, imagine this like we're just hanging out, talking cars, and I've got some fresh Civic news I have to share with you. So, the 2026 Honda Civic is coming, and honestly, this might be one of the most interesting Civics Honda has done in years. Not because it's flashy or wild, but because it feels like Honda finally sat down and said, okay, what do people actually want right now? First off, let's talk about the design because this is the first thing everyone's going to notice. Honda isn't reinventing the Civic here, and that's a good thing. The current generation already looks clean, mature, and very grown up. For 2026, expect it to look a bit sharper and more confident. The front end is expected to get subtle tweaks. Think cleaner headlights, a slightly more aggressive grille, and a stance that feels wider and lower without screaming for attention. It's the kind of design that ages well, not something that looks cool for 1 year and day to the next. From the side, it still has that sleek, almost fastback-like profile that made the latest Civic such a hit. The lines are smooth, the proportions are right, and it doesn't look cheap or overstyled. Around the back, Honda is likely refining the taillights and bumper, just enough to keep it fresh. Nothing dramatic, but enough that you'll know it's the newer model when you see it on the road. Now here's where things get really interesting. Asterisk, the engine lineup, asterisk, especially the hybrid. Honda is clearly leaning hard into hybrids, and the 2026 Civic is expected to benefit big time from that strategy. The Civic Hybrid is making a strong return, and not in a boring, eco-only way. Honda's newer hybrid systems are actually pretty fun to drive. They're smooth, quick off the line, and incredibly efficient in real-world driving. Now let's talk about pricing, because this is where the Civic really earns its reputation. While prices across the car market have gone up, Honda is still trying to keep the Civic reasonable. The 2026 model will likely cost a bit more than previous years, because everything does, but it's still expected to undercut a lot of rivals when you compare what you're getting. The hybrid version will probably sit higher in the lineup, but when you factor in fuel savings, it could actually make a lot of sense long-term. For many buyers, it might be the smartest Civic you can buy. When you compare the 2026 Civic to older generations, the difference is pretty wild. Older Civics were great, but they were simpler, more basic, and definitely more economy car feeling. The new Civic feels more refined, more confident, and honestly more grown-up. It's the kind of car that works just as well for a college student as it does for someone with a family or a long commute. And when you compare it to competitors, that's where Honda's consistency really shines. Other compact cars come and go, change personalities, or try too hard to stand out. The Civic just keeps getting better at being a Civic, reliable, efficient, comfortable, and enjoyable to drive. So the big question is the 2026 Honda Civic exciting? Maybe not in a supercar kind of way, but exciting in a real-life smart decision. This car just makes sense kind of way? Absolutely. If Honda delivers on the hybrid performance, keeps the pricing competitive, and continues refining the interior and driving experience, the 2026 Civic could easily be one of the best all-around cars you can buy. Not just in the compact segment, but period. And honestly, that's kind of what the Civic has always been about. Not trying to be everything, just trying to be really good at what people actually need. Let me know what you think. Would you go hybrid this time or stick with gas? And do you think Honda is playing it smart or playing it too safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Automobile Fire.